Welcome back to Win Fantasy Football. Our research team is going to make sure you're successful. Let's get to the running back tier list is already up. The flex video is next, followed by the quarterback video with tight ends and defense. Let's go and get started with the number one wide receiver in fantasy, and it's not going to change. Arizona's defense did look good against Cowboys, actually, which you figure the Cowboys was going to score so many points, and they didn't. I don't care. He's getting open. He's getting his targets. He's getting his points. He's number one, and it's not going to change this week at the wide receiver position. I know he's questionable because of his ribs, but this week against 49ers, I don't look for anything to change. If he gets out there, he's still the number one wide receiver. He still gets his targets and his points, so he's a simply must. He's just a must start. Drake London went wild last week, and he's going wild this week against Indianapolis. I don't see any reason why he won't, guys. That defense does not scare you. They give the third most points to fantasy wide receivers. So that being said, a better matchup this week. It doesn't mean he's going to get all the touchdowns. I feel like Robinson's going to get one of those out of the red zone at least. But yeah, London is still set to go off this week. Justin Jefferson has a wonderful matchup. I look for him to get in the end zone and be that top number one pick that you used on him. This week, he's going to get those points. He's a must start with a wonderful matchup. JJ's back. At least it looks like JJ right now is able to put the ball where he needs to. He's not a top tier quarterback, but it looks like Jefferson gets so much separation, it makes it easy for JJ. St. Brown has a great matchup this week, so he's also S tier against Washington. The problem is if Washington can't score so many points, the Lions may just run the ball, run the ball, and run the ball. It might be a Montgomery kind of week, so keep that in mind. But I still believe Brown's still going to get his targets and still get his points. Nico has a problem at quarterback, right? There's no consistent play with Mills or CJ. I get it, but he's good enough to get his targets and to get his points. He's going to get separations. Not hard to throw him the ball. So yeah, with a good matchup, he's still a must start. That has a middle of the road matchup, and I'm not afraid of the Saints defense. But man, the ball's getting spread out. We don't know who's going to get it. So maybe he bounce backs this week with not a hard matchup. So if you have him, I think you got to play him, especially with what you spent to get him. I believe this week is a week that he can shine with not a hard matchup. Debo has a good matchup this week against the Lions. The quarterback play does worry me, is why he's not higher. But I believe that he's going to be a gadget player. They're going to give him the ball. They're going to force feed him. They're going to have gadget plays. So, yeah, I believe this week is the week he can shine. They're going to have to pass the ball to catch up. And with that being said, I think Debo's just going to be in the game plan so much and get such a volume, he's going to be a good start. The Steelers are good against the run, bad against the pass. So I look for the Chargers to try to run the ball and get stuffed, and it's really going to amp up even the pass opportunities. The Chargers are already throwing the ball so much. He should get his volume. I know sometimes the ball goes here and there. You don't know who's getting the points, but I feel like this week the volume will be there against this Pittsburgh defense, which is pretty bad against the pass. Look for Sutton to bounce back. He had 10 points. Well, this week he plays against the Raiders. Raiders give the second most points to wide receivers. So, yeah, this week he should be able to get his points. I do like this matchup. I know there's other weeks he lets you down, but this week against the second most fantasy points given up to a wide receiver, he's a must start. I want you to relax on Harrison Jr., okay? Because that matchup was what you wanted. I know he did good against the top tier cornerback, but that defense overall is horrible against the pass. Can he get his points? Sure. Is there a quarterback problem? Pretty much. Kyler Murray's not good. Briskett's above average, I guess. He's a little bit better than Kyler Murray, but man, it's just hard to say right now. And this is not a great matchup. So depending on your flex, you may not want to start him. Diggs being the number one option this week with a great quarterback play, I believe is a player you can start against this Tampa Bay secondary. They do not look good. So there should be an opportunity there to put him in your flex and get reliable points. I think this is a week you can start Diggs without thinking about it. Flowers does not have the best matchup against Minnesota, but I believe with Lamar back there buying time and let Flowers running routes that take for so long, secondary breaks down. I believe Flowers this week can get his points. There are better players in the flex. If you have any questions, ask me down below. But with Lamar back, you got to think Flowers is going to get his points. Jalen does not have a great matchup. Buffalo is pretty good against the pass. Look what they did to Kansas City. Kansas City did not go out there and score a bunch of points. And with a poor quarterback play, be careful with Waddle. He can get the volume. He is the number one wide receiver. Obviously, his Hill's been out forever, but it's not a great matchup. So be careful starting him. Last week, Adams went off for 23 points. This week, I like it. Puka should be playing, and so really there shouldn't be so much attention on him. So that being said, I believe Adams will get his points. He's not a bad flex play, and with Stafford playing the way he is, Adams should be safe to play. Ibuka this week does not have the best matchup against the Patriots, but the reason I say play him is because of the volume he's going to get. With Godwin and Evans out, he should be the number one target, and his target should be pretty high. So with the volume he's going to get, I think you could play him at the flex. Has a good matchup this week. Last week, they scored 17 million points and he didn't catch a ball. Now, if you didn't watch the game, he actually dropped a touchdown that hit his hands. So, do I expect that to continue? No. I think you could play him in this matchup. I would not be worried about last week. I think he's going to get his targets. I think he's going to get his points. So, Rome owners, calm down. This is a good week for him. I know he ran more routes than anybody else, took more snaps than anybody else, and still didn't do much. But this week, I think he gets back on track. I kind of like Smith this week and AJ Brown. I'll tell you why. I think the Packers are going to do good against the run. So I think Barkley is going to get stuffed a little bit. He could break one, but most likely they're going to pass the ball more than they want to. So that being said, I believe Smith and AJ Brown here are side by side for who's going to get the ball, and I believe that they could get their pass volume this week, and they could be successful. So, do you play them this week? I think so. With this Packers defense being so good against the run, I think they're going to go off their game plan and actually pass the ball more, which is going to give Brown and Smith. I know Pittman did a lot last week. This week's not the best matchup. Atlanta's defense been hit and miss. Can he get his points? Yes. But the problem is in this Colts offense is it's a spread offense. So they don't really feature someone or force feed someone. Sometimes the ball can get away from them. So do I look for Pittman to go crazy? So I really don't. I think Robinson and Taylor run the ball so much, the targets go down. So be careful playing him. He could get in the end zone, but I think he's a risky play. Metcalf this week does not have the best matchup. He's been boom or bust. Last week was a bust. The problem is, guys, Rodgers not throwing the ball down the field. He checks it down. They're really just trying to run the ball. So Warren's getting a heavy workload. But yeah, this week is not the best matchup. You might want to look at your flex. Ask me down below. You may not want to start. Williams is a boom or bust player, but this week he has a good matchup against Washington. However, I believe Washington didn't score. I believe the Lions just run out the clock in the running game. I can't suggest you to play him. I would start someone else. I just don't see him throwing the ball a lot to try to catch up to Washington. I believe it's going to be a blowout with Mariota playing, and Daniels wasn't even playing well anyways. But yeah, the Washington can't really run the ball. Their running back sucks. Krosky's trash. So that being said, I'd go ahead and bench Williams. Now up next, we do have both Charger wide receivers here. We have Johnson and Allen. Guys, I feel like the ball goes here, the ball goes there, who knows where. And I believe this week is the week you can actually start both of them. The volume should be enough. They throw the ball so much. The running back Fidel is going nowhere this week against that run defense. So I believe the Chargers are going to throw the ball even more. Look for them to throw the ball over 40 times this week in a good matchup. So that being said, go ahead and start both. Jawan Jennings. Okay. There's something I do want to talk about. His playoff schedule is going to be great. By playoff schedule, I mean fantasy football. And this week, I think he's going to get his targets. I'm not really scared of that secondary. And yeah, I think he's going to be just fine to play in the flex. You might want to ask me down below who else is playing. He could get benched. There could be better options, but this week he should be dependable. I think he's going to get his targets and his points. I'm not playing any of the Bills wide receivers this week. Miami's horrible against the run, so I believe Cook will cook them. And I believe the Bills don't really have to throw the ball this week to catch up. with Miami's offense being so bad at the quarterback position, I don't think they're going to score a lot of points. I think the Bills could even get their starters out there early and then just run the ball with Cook, and then Cook could get subbed out, and then it's just going to be the point where you have these wide receivers that are not even getting targets. So go ahead and bench all of the Bills wide receivers this week. DJ Moore had 23 points last week. I'm laughing because he threw a touchdown to Caleb Williams. So his points are kind of just padded and weird. The good thing is I see DJ Moore actually getting more involved in his offense as far as targets. He actually was involved the week he got hurt in that first half. I believe that the Chicago's defense is so bad they have the pass to catch up. So I think DJ Moore's fine this week to play. Is it a home run? No. Is it a good matchup? Sure. Uh, yeah, with that being said, DJ Moore, if you don't have much to play at the flex, maybe he does fit your team and you can play him. This does not have the best matchup. Carolina's actually doing pretty good against wide receivers and bad quarterback play. You might want to look at your flex depending who you have. He might get force fed still as targets. I know he's reliable, but yeah, be careful playing him against the Carolina Panthers, because Carolina might just run the ball with Rico and just run this clock out. So with that being said, he is really a tough set or start this week. Let me know who you have down below. I might help you with it. But yeah, this week may not be the week for Chris. Robinson has a pretty good matchup. I think he's going to get his targets. Uh, Dart's working with what he has. So, yeah, I think he could be fine in your flex depending on what you have. But, yeah, matchup this week isn't so bad. So, yeah, with that being said, Robinson might be better than you think. And I think he's going to actually get more points than what he's projected to get. Golden's not consistent. He's not figured in the offense. Okay. The offense is looking bad. They're not blocking well. Love didn't play the best. So right now, go ahead and bench Golden. Madison has a great matchup against Baltimore. So if you're going to play him, this is the week to play him. I know they don't have the best quarterback, but right now, Baltimore's giving up 1,000,000 points. So yeah, if you're going to start him your flex, there's going to be other weeks you bench him, but probably this is the week you play him if you have him. Ricky has been banged up. I don't know what you're going to get, so I still can go ahead and bench him until you see him back in his offense full force. Uh, right now, I would just look at somewhere else to play. Ricky is questionable this week. I would go ahead and not play him. You don't know where he's going to fit in this offense being gone. Uh, he's just too much of a risk where he may not get very many snaps. So go ahead and bench him. I don't trust this Raiders offense. I can't start Myers. You shouldn't either. Right now, it looks bad. So go ahead and bench him. If Terry does come back, where does he fit? I don't know. Right now, it's kind of a question mark. With bad quarterback play in Mariota, I really don't trust it even more. So I thought about trading for him because of his playoff schedule so easy. But right now, I don't know what you're going to get. So I can't suggest him. I would just go ahead and bench him. Mooney looked bad. He didn't get separation. If you watch the game, he's not really figured in the offense. I know they have a good matchup this week, but go ahead and bench him. Troy Franklin's next, guys. I know he's been getting his targets. He has a good matchup this week, so he's going to be a boom or bust kind of guy. You don't know where the ball's going, so I can't suggest you to start him. But if you're desperate in a deep league, you might play him. I get it for that reason. But guys, the running back video is out already. Go ahead and check it out. Up next, the flex video, followed by the quarterback, tight ends, and the defensive video. I'll see you soon. Have a good day. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking.